Show me the way back to you. Show me just what I gotta do. And I'll give all the glory to you. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me today. Show me the way. Just keep saying, oh, yeah. Bless me. Oh, yeah. Just resonate. You say that you'll be there to hear a sinner's prayer. I need you to show me just what I got. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me today. Show me the way back to you. Show me just what I know that I know that I know. Show me the way. Show me today. But if you're the girl that you say back to you.
Yep. What up? What up? What's so funny?
I'm just having a memory. I think when we had Mila on, wasn't I singing in the mic? Something happened during the beginning. that
Well,
just-
Mila was singing too. Y'all were getting down. And I was like, we could hear you.
that was funny.
You were audible
Anyway, that's what I was
right
thinking
now.
about. That's why I was
Okay.
laughing. Hi, everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Welcome back. It's been weeks.
It's been a long time.
Has
It's
it
been
been
months.
It's been months, but
Well,
you know,
maybe a
it was
month.
the holidays.
Maybe a month and change.
Yeah, it was the holidays. So, you know, we do what we do, which is stop working during the
Mm.
holidays.
Mhm.
And then when the holidays are done, we come back. So welcome back to Cub BK.
That was good.
Everyone.
I like that.
The podcast where we talk to PKs about their experience growing up as PKs. I don't remember our tagline either. Oh,
Welcome
the
to
Secret
the
Lives of
club.
Pastors Kids is right
So
there on
there
the
it
screen.
is. It's right there on the screen.
Right there, if you're
On the
wondering.
screen, and it's on my new sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's on your new sweatshirt as well. This is sponsored by CP Nicks, which is, there you go. There's my shirt as well. We have merch soon to be available. to
Yeah,
you guys.
we're
Not
working on
available yet.
we're working on
We'll
our
figure it
merch
out.
store, which we are going to make available through our website, which is cpnix.com. It's not up and running yet, but it will be. Here's our website here.
It's coming real soon.
Check us out,
It's also
cpnix.com.
going to hopefully look very different than that when you go visit it.
We need some new pictures.
Well, I think our pictures are fine. It's just that we're not the product and we're the first thing that you see. Anyway, we'll talk about
I
that.
gotta update this too. We have an old episode on there from July.
Yeah, so we have a lot. We have
Update
a
all
lot
that.
of
Yeah.
work to do. So, like I said, we took the holidays off, just like you guys took the holidays
Right.
off. But
You also took the holidays
now we're
off,
back.
so-
It's 2026 somehow. I actually don't know how it is, but it is 2026. How was your Christmas, Paul? Because I wasn't with you. We weren't together for Christmas.
No, we weren't together, which doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
It was not bad. It was interesting. But, Christmas actually low key, really, really low key. So, I was actually saying this to
That's
my
good.
class. Yeah. I was saying this to my classes that my mother-in-law doesn't really celebrate Christmas, and I mentioned that my mother-in-law is Haitian, and all of my Haitian students were like, "Yep, we get it," like us too. You know, what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh, is that a Haitian thing?" They're like, "Yeah, Haitians don't really get down with Christmas like that." I was like, "I didn't know that." You know, what I'm saying?
But what does that mean? Do they also not take work off, or
They'll
does that
take the
mean they
day.
don't give stuff?
They'll take the day. They're just not doing none of that, none of the other stuff.
I'm not really mad about that. I get bored. Like, I'm bored with how we celebrate Christmas, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the family who feels that way. So we keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
But I've been saying for years, if the family's going to be together, could we do like a destination Christmas? Could we go to the beach? Could we just do something different?
I would love
Something
for
different.
Christmas to be an experience rather than gifts.
Yes.
That would be great.
Because that's the other thing. As an adult, I've been buying myself things for years now. And when Christmas comes around, I really don't. I mean, the stuff that I want is ridiculously expensive. Like, for example, pay my rent for me. Like, that would be a great gift. But That's a lot of money.
buy me one grocery trip. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a lot of money. That's hundreds of
a
dollars
couple $100.
right there.
You know what I'm saying?
So I feel like the stuff that I want for Christmas is too expensive for me to ask for, but all the other stuff I just buy because I can afford it and I just buy it. So yeah, it's a little, but the family likes it, so we do it for the family. Because that's what you do when you have family.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So what about any New Year's resolutions? Would you make any resolutions this year?
So I don't usually make New Year's resolutions, but it just so happens that there are transitions happening in my life around the New Year time.
Okay.
So coincidentally, I've made some decisions
Okay.
about life, but it's not really about New Year's. It's just about things are happening and I want them to change, and this is what I'm going to do to change them.
Okay.
And it just happens to be
It happens to be at that
during
time
the
of year.
holidays.
Mhm.
Yeah. But do you do resolutions?
No, I haven't done resolutions in a long time. Actually, I haven't done resolutions since what we're going to talk about tonight.
Oh, was that your
That was
resolution?
my last resolution.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. We'll
Oh,
get
do
to
you
that.
wanna say
We'll
the
get to
next
that in a
thing?
minute. We'll get to that in a minute.
Well, let me continue what I was saying. One of the things that has happened is I got promoted at my job accidentally, like in December. And by accidentally, I mean I was just minding my business doing my work. Like literally, because that's what I do when I go to work. I mind my business, do my work.
And they're
And
like, do more of it.
they tapped me on my shoulder. It was like, hey. And I was like, okay, sure. And so now I'm managing the team that I was just a part of,
Nice.
which is a very different job.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that before I took it, but I was also praying about some stuff around the
Mhm.
same time. And when I'm praying about stuff and things start to happen that I didn't make happen, it just makes me pay attention.
Yeah.
And I think I would have been silly to say no to that, considering what I was praying about at the time.
Right.
So I said yes, even though I don't particularly like managerial positions. I'm much more of a worker bee kind of employee.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be, for example, in the classroom rather
Right.
than
In the office or whatever.
in the
Yeah.
administration.
Yeah.
Administration is not usually the thing that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't grow if you stay comfortable. So
Also true.
I'm making myself do uncomfortable things,
Mhm.
and that's one of my quote unquote resolutions. Another one that
To
I've
do
decided to
uncomfortable
do is
things?
do things. Yes, do things
Mhm.
that make me uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but also do things that I'm afraid to do, like
Mm.
intentionally do them.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes planning things for myself different because I'm not so much looking to do things that I enjoy, but more than that, I'm looking to do things that I'm scared to do
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I've decided I want to do.
Right.
So I guess those are my quote unquote resolutions that just happened to happen during the new year. But my new job's is going pretty well. I'm still figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm enjoying it so far.
That's great. Those of you that don't know Claire as well, Claire doesn't play with her work. It's not about games. This is real. This is real life. So when Claire is trying to figure something else out at work, she is unreachable. She is not coming out to the game or to the movies, and like she's doing her work and trying to figure it out. And that's heavy on her mind and on her spirit at that point in her life. And
Yeah.
and
I feel
our
pretty
parents.
seen by you. I think I like this.
You feel what now? You
I feel seen by you right now.
Oh
I didn't know you knew
I know
this
you,
about
Claire.
me 'cause we
I
didn't
know
really
you
talk
very,
about
I
this.
know you very well. I know you longer than you've known you, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
you didn't have a self awareness yet. And I knew who you were. So
Yeah, that's true.
so our parents live across town from me. We live in different states, but our parents live not down the street, but close to me. So I see our parents all the time, and our mother in particular. She'll be like, how come Claire didn't answer her phone today? I'm like, I haven't talked to Claire either. What are you talking about? First of all, I haven't spoken to Claire either, number one. But secondly, Claire is not. So if Claire is not talking to you, she's not ignoring you. She's doing something else.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Paul. And I try to be reassuring to other people when I remember to be reassuring, because I can understand from the other side of that. It seems like I just don't want to talk to you, but that's really not what's happening. I'm really just, and you said it really well earlier. my mind and spirit are just focused on something else,
That's it.
and so I can't add you to that because I have to focus on this thing. And once I figure it out, we'll start calling again.
Right.
We'll be fine.
So yeah, I try to explain it because mom gets offended, So I try to explain it to her, and she doesn't always get it. But at the end, I land on don't be offended. It's not personal. Okay,
It's
let's
not
move
personal.
on. Right. So
And on my end, I can do better with understanding the other perspective,
mhm.
and maybe at least send a text and say, "Hey, I can't answer my
I
phone
can't
right
do that
now.
right now. Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
talk to you later?"
Mom
That's what I
would
can do.
appreciate that.
Yeah, she would.
We weren't planning to talk about mom, but I do have a video I would like to show.
Let's do
What
it.
do you think? Should I do it?
Absolutely, why not?
All right. I actually don't have
My
it locked
mom
and
had a
loaded.
birthday about a month and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah, a month and
And so this is
week or
our
so.
late happy. I don't even know what you're about to play, but this is our late
man's best
happy
friend.
birthday to mom. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a great video.
I don't have it locked and loaded though. 1 second.
Man,
Here it is. No, I have it. Here it is. All right. So,
let me say some things before you
sure,
play this because
sure.
people aren't going to understand. One of my favorite parts of my mom's personality, and it's also one of my favorite parts of Paul's personality, is because mom and Paul are the same person. Is
Mom is much
whatever
more.
the-
Mom's much more extroverted than I am.
yes, that's true. Whatever the joke is, mom is down.
She is.
She
That is
doesn't need
that is
instructions.
totally true.
She's just part of the joke now if she realizes there's a joke. So this video that Paul's about to play wasn't meant to be a joke. It was actually part of a.
Tell us the story.
It was part of.
I was
in
thinking
speech
about this
class.
because I don't remember the story.
I was a freshman at Oakwood in speech class.
Mm-hmm.
And for my very first speech, we were allowed to choose our topics. I chose to write or to talk about miniature pinchers because we had a miniature pincher at the time. So I wanted a way to end the speech. And mom started talking about this song about dogs that she knew. And she taught the song to you, Paul, because you didn't know the song.
No, we knew the song.
Oh, we knew the song.
We had learned the song previously. She might have brought it up again at that time because it was relevant.
Okay.
We already knew the song. Yeah.
And so I had the idea to record mom and Paul singing the song about dogs, and that's how I was going to end my speech. Mom was upstairs in her bed under the covers with her pajamas. Like it was nighttime. She was in bed for the night.
You can see it's nighttime in the video.
Yes, because I think she's wearing pajama bottoms, like a shirt and then pajama bottoms.
She
And
might be.
as soon as I told her the idea, she jumped out of bed like immediately. It was
She
like,
was
okay,
ready.
came downstairs, and they recorded this video that Paul's about to show.
All right, here we go.
Come on, work.
It's coming. Hold on.
Okay.
It's gonna work. Here it is.
Friend is a dog, a very common fact. Everybody knows it's true. But hey, mister, have you ever wondered? Well, I feel last night, and I did it all alone. I think that I got it right. You gotta talk about. But to give you a bit. Philosophy you ought to remember if you can.
So, first of all, that file's really old and really glitchy.
What year was you in? Was your freshman year of college?
2002. That was
Okay.
2002.
So that's 22. That's 23. 24 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah. So that video is 24 years old. My mom is exactly the same, just like that. And there's
We're using
person-
a camcorder, so it's a physical tape. You know, one of those tapes you have to rewind or whatever. And we transferred it to. I think I transferred it to a digital format when that became possible, which might have been 8 to 10 years after that. So, like Claire was saying, it's an old tape. It's really glitchy. You can't, probably didn't even understand the words to the song. But that's a really good. demonstration of
Yeah,
our mother.
of mom. Yeah,
She's-
she's just down for the joke, and she's fully in it. She's
She's in.
committed.
Mhm.
She's in it. That I don't even think that was the first take. We did like several takes.
We did a couple takes, yeah.
She was having fun. My mom likes to have fun.
She has to
so
have fun.
if
Mhm.
there's anything that's gonna make her have fun, she's gonna do it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I passed the class. So you know,
There you go. Got your degree, so you know
it
that's
worked. Yeah, it worked. And we had some fun. So my friend Antonea, you hear her in that video, but you don't see her. She was around the corner because she was laughing so hard. She
That
didn't
wasn't
want
you
to be heard
laughing?
on the that was Antonea laughing around
Wow,
the corner.
that was
She was sitting
you.
on the steps around the corner. That was not me. Antonea was over there dying. She was like, I can't watch this. I have to go. So she went around the corner. But you can still hear her laughing on the tape. So, you know, good times.
Oh man.
Good times.
Wow. Fun stuff. All right, so let's talk about our show today. We're 15 minutes in here, really long banter, but
I was about to say, I feel like we need to go here.
no.
Okay.
No, let's go here. So today's show we don't have a guest, and this is our first time doing it this way. So when we envisioned this show, we're like, let's start with our own stories or whatever, and then start including guests. But then our very first episode, we had our brother on, and we're like, oh, let's do this like, you know, John's not really a guest; he's a sibling. So it's like, let's start with the siblings, and then, you know, John's not going to be here every week. We'll continue. So we didn't really, we've never done this where it's just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you talked about your experience and John talked about his experience, but I never really talked about mine, which you've brought up a few times, you know, in our meetings and stuff like that. And we do planning sessions for our show. So that's what we'll do tonight. We'll just talk through some of the things we like about our own show, some of the things we appreciated from 2025 from Club PK, some things that made the difference to us. Some, you know, we'll talk about our favorite commercials a little bit that we did. We don't have a new commercial tonight. Oh, we do have a new commercial. We don't have a new funny commercial tonight.
Right. But those are coming back 100%.
We got new commercials coming this year. Stay tuned. This year is going to be fun. 2026 is going to be a fun year of Club PK. You might think we were running short on ideas for these commercials. We are not.
We're not. It's not even close. And we won't. There's way
We're
too much
not
material.
running out of ideas.
Yeah.
The concept that is driving these commercials will never not be funny.
Correct.
and we're never going to stop thinking of iterations of it. So by the time we're done with this show, by the time we decide we're not doing any more of these, we're going to have 300-400 commercials. Like it's just going to be right now we only have like 25, but we're going to keep it going. So let's talk first about a moment from 2025 that you felt like was just really impactful in terms of maybe what we were talking about or what a guest had to say or just something that was just meaningful in your opinion from last year.
So the guest that was most impactful for me was our cousin Michael, and we had
Okay.
Michael on twice,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's the second time that we had him on where he
Mhm.
talked in detail about his divorce and kind of what led up to it still sticks with me
Mm-hmm.
because he said something about God that made me start questioning whether I knew who God really was or not.
Mm.
And so I started to really reshape the way I was approaching like my worship, my prayer, my everything, because I was like, do I actually know this person, or am I just regurgitating what's been taught to me or
Yeah.
repeated at me? So do you want to play the clip first, or want me to say what he said in the clip?
Either one. It's actually not him talking in the clip. It's you.
Oh, is it really? Well,
Mhm.
play it, because now I'm interested and curious.
So here is the moment that Claire is talking about from Michael.
The last thing you said was, it felt cruel of God in the moment to say that to you.
Yeah.
And that made me think about the character of God and who he really is. So
Yeah.
shameless plug, but not really shameless. Paul and I wrote a book called God is a
Yeah,
Person,
I'm about to
Discovering God for
book, yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah.
And there's
I
a
don't have the book
chapter, I
on
don't remember what chapter it is, but there's a chapter, oh, it might be chapter 1, where we talk about how if you look at God through a distorted lens, you're going to
Mm.
distort his character.
That's
Mhm.
it.
But
Yeah.
if you look at him through the lens of love, anything and everything that he does or even allows to happen in your life is going to make more sense.
Yeah.
And something can feel cruel, but can be a loving act. Like, that's crazy to me.
So, yeah. The thing that Michael was talking about was he was referring to a time when he was married and God told him, these are his words, God told him his marriage was over, is what he said. And I think that's actually
Yeah.
what we entitled that episode. He's like, God
Yeah.
told me my marriage
It's a really
was
good.
over.
It was a really good conversation. You guys should go back and watch the full
Go check
episode
it
because
out.
Michael
Yeah.
was really transparent.
Yeah.
It was a great conversation. But yeah, that when he said that, it really kind of shifted in a good way the way I was relating to God. And I say in a good way because I became a lot more curious, and I'm already a curious person,
Mm-hmm.
but I just became a lot more curious about who this person is and whether or not my understanding of him is really just putting him in a box. And if I'm putting him in a box, which, spoiler alert, I was,
Right.
and really am, like, I'm trying not to, but it's hard to stop doing a thing that you've always done.
Unlearning is really difficult.
Yeah, unlearning is hard.
No, unlearning is
But
really
at
difficult.
least I know, and I'm trying, like, asking the Holy Spirit to help me and stuff. But I became a lot more curious, and that really intensified in a positive way my search for who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that moment with Michael was really, really, really impactful for me, and continues to be impactful for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have one?
Yeah, I have a moment too, but and I'm going to talk about Shannon because Shannon said something that was so out of the box that similar response for me, right? So out of the box that it was like, do I actually know who this person is? And I would like to. Like I would, I would help me get to know you better. I was actually talking about this concept with my class just might have been this week, might have been last week. Just this idea of, as you come closer and closer to a standard, you realize how far you actually are from it, right? You come closer to a thing and be like, wait a minute, I thought I was getting closer. And it doesn't really seem like it. It's so far away, right? So this is one of those things, the more you get to know God, the more you realize you don't really know, what I'm saying? The more there is to know,
Yeah, and it's weird, but it's also a fun part of the relationship, but it can also be a confusing part of the relationship too, between us and God, I mean.
Right. My wife is calling me. 1 second.
Okay.
We're live, babe.
Right now. I heard you knocking on the door.
We're on the internet right now. Okay, so so I'm gonna play a short clip here from Shannon. But so here's the thing, I'm gonna talk about this Shannon moment, but there's actually another moment from another guest that actually plays in my mind more often, and it's actually Mila. But I'll talk about that when we get to my story a little bit later. So here's part of what Shannon had to say.
Yeah, the 10 years of silence ended with me experiencing myself as a soul. The exact incident that happened was that I met someone that I knew outside of this body. There's no other way to say it. I knew that person. I recognized them, and it wasn't a physical recognition. It wasn't something where it's like, oh, I know this person. You have those moments of deja vu. Have I met you before? Mm-hmm. We have those throughout our lives, and we just really can't place it. It wasn't like that. It was a much deeper, soul-stirring recognition. And I recognized the person. I had met them in the physical form. Though there was something very familiar about them to me, I didn't put any weight behind it. I had a vision of Jesus. So, we've heard and hear many, many times, the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? Mm-hmm. But what does that really mean? So I remember I was really being really hard on myself for something that I was just thinking was just the worst thing. It was a pattern that I kept repeating. I couldn't get out of it. And I had been praying about it for years. I was just distraught. I was falling asleep praying, and I saw just the essence of Jesus, So looking and piercing deeply into his eyes, I saw him looking at me, and there was no judgment there.
So this is the thing about what Shannon is saying, talking about experiencing God as a spirit. And she says, God showed himself to me as a spirit. First of all, the Bible says very clearly that God is spirit, right? It is not unclear. Now, we know Jesus is a physical person with a body walking around on earth. But the other two members of the Godhead are spirit, right? So God is spirit, first of all. But here's the other thing. Jesus is not described in the Bible, not physically. He's not. Jesus has a body. He walked around. It doesn't give us his...
He was described in Isaiah.
But see, that's prophetic description. He wasn't alive yet.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
Okay. So, and he's described in Revelation too, but that's prophetic description. That's not prophetic.
I see what you're saying.
That's post-apocalyptic. You know what I'm saying? That's
so like in the four Gospels, no one said Jesus looked like this because I saw him today.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So while Jesus had it, and so it doesn't give us descriptions. Jeremiah is, I think, what you're thinking about. Jeremiah attempts a description. And Revelation, John the Revelator attempts a description, but they're so full, and they're describing. Here's the other thing: they're describing the post-resurrection Jesus, the not post-resurrection, the post-resurrection too, but post-ascension. They're describing, right? They're describing not the Jesus, the person who walked, the same person, but not as the person walking around, but after he comes down from heaven. So it's a prophetic description. So
even after he goes back to heaven, if it's an ascension, right?
Right. He goes and comes back. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. So there's a lot of, and I don't have the text in front of me, but there's a lot of metaphorical language in there, and you can almost feel Jeremiah, especially. You can almost feel him like trying to grasp for concepts that we would understand, and he says stuff like, "His skin was like metal." I get, you know what I'm saying? Like, his hair was like wool, I suppose. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, he's reaching for these descriptions because it doesn't fit into what we already think. So I'm just saying that to say, we think we know what he looks like, and we actually don't. And all of our attempts to encapsulate that are gonna fall short. So I love the idea that Shannon is talking about here, the idea of experiencing God as a spirit instead of trying to translate him into my terms. God is who he is.
Instead of putting him in a box.
Don't put him in no box.
Yeah.
Is God black or white? Neither.
But
is God male or female? Neither.
It's so interesting because I believe our brains were created by the person we're talking about. I believe they were created to try to figure stuff out and understand things.
For sure.
And it just so happens that the way we try to understand things doesn't work with him because he's not the creation. He's the creator.
That's right.
So, but our mind doesn't care. It still wants to do it. So I feel like sometimes there's maybe a tension. I don't know if tension is the right word because I really don't mean this negatively, and tension feels like a negative word. But there's a kind of a level of discomfort that this is a person that I can get to know very, very intimately, but will never be able to understand all the way.
Right.
I can't. My brain
tension is
can't
the right
handle
word.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a tension that you kind of have to live with.
Cognitive dissonance, right? It's like, there's this thing that I desire that I will never fully grasp and achieve, and And it really, the other thing it reminds me of is just this idea that I think we need to reframe our expectations and our understanding of what progress and success look like, right? So with our sort of Western capitalistic mindset, success is often measured by achievement, not necessarily progress.
Right.
When it comes to God, we're never going to achieve. You know what I mean? You're never going to get there. You'll never reach it. That's not the point.
But also that's not a problem because that means that's just how magnificent he is. You can't get to the point where you understand everything because he's too big.
Mm-hmm.
He's too much
Mm-hmm.
for that. And there's a point where I was gonna say you have to get to the point. I'm like, you don't have to do anything.
That's true.
So that's why I didn't say it. But there's a point for me. I'll just talk about myself, where I had to say, you know what, I have to be okay because I also like to know things.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be okay with as much as of himself as he has chosen to reveal to me.
That's right.
Because also he knows what I can handle, I can't handle.
That's
If he
also
revealed
true.
all of himself, I would combust. Like,
That's
you know,
true. Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna work. So it really just urges me to trust him all the more. The fact that I can't fully understand
Yeah.
makes me say, man, help me. The one who I can't understand, please help me be okay with this. The fact
Right.
that
Right.
you're just that
Help
magnificent.
me accept it.
Yeah, help me accept that, but also help me to never stop searching for more.
Mm-hmm.
Because that also means he's limitless, which
That's
means
also
I can
true.
keep searching
You
and
can
keep
keep
searching and
searching.
keep searching and keep finding and keep finding and keep finding and never reach the end. And for a curious person like me, that's an exciting idea, but also
Mhm.
kind of a bummer if I'm being real. Because
Mhm.
again, I like to get to
You
the
like
end
to
of
get
stuff.
there, right? I've
There's like
achieved the thing.
what's the chemical reaction that you get when you check something off a list? Isn't there like a word?
Yeah.
So I
can't think of it.
I want to be
I was
want
gonna
to
say
be
serotonin. That's not it.
I want to be more in love with the fact that he has completely engulfed me in his love than obsessed with the idea that, man, I'm never going to get to the end of this thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a perspective shift that I have
Mm-hmm.
to somehow make happen.
Dopamine?
None of these words sound, I mean, I know that word, but that doesn't sound like what I was gonna say. But everybody knows what I'm talking about. Hopefully.
I think it's dopamine.
Yeah.
Based on the thing I'm
So
reading
that episode with Shannon. Shannon was also a double guest, and that was the
That's-
second
mhm.
episode where she told that story.
right.
I don't remember what the name of that episode is, but you should go back and watch that one too, because
here.
it's a good one.
Yeah, we've had some great guests that talked about some meaningful things, and it was actually pretty challenging to try to find one moment out of all of these people that's revealing all these things. But and like I said, you know, I picked Shannon, but I could have easily picked Mila. You know,
which you're going to tell us
easily.
about in a second
We'll
anyway.
talk about it a
So,
little bit later.
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take 2 commercial breaks today, and here's our first one. And I want to ask you, Claire, what was your favorite commercial from 2025? And we will show that one for our first commercial break.
So my favorite commercial was one of our more recent ones. It was the Spiritual Bandages commercial
Why did you like that one so much?
for 2 reasons.
First of all, you wrote the entire script.
The first reason is when I was writing it, I was just dying laughing. So the way that me and Paul work, Paul's in Alabama and I'm in Maryland. So we'll get on a video call, we'll get on the same Google Doc, and we'll just both start typing and talking to each other. Paul was doing something else. You might have been working on a different commercial, actually. And I was writing the Spiritual Bandages commercial, just laughing and not really talking to Paul, just sitting here typing and laughing. So it was the most fun for me to write. But also, you did it so flawlessly in one take that, and as I was writing it, I was laughing so hard because I could hear Paul saying the things that I was typing. And when he did it, and he did it on the fly, he didn't read through it first. He just
Yeah.
did it in one take.
Yeah, I
He
recall.
did exactly what I envisioned him doing, and I gave him no instructions. And it was just funny. It was fun to write. It's fun to watch, and you know, the more laughter I get, the more fun that I have. So yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, I've actually only read this script once, and it's the time that you're getting ready to see in the recording. I've never read it before or after. So here we go. Spiritual Bandages commercial. We'll be right back after this. Amen, church. Today's episode of Club PK is brought to you by Spiritual bandages.
Yes.
The only adhesive healing strip specifically designed to heal your unseen hurt.
Jesus. Mm.
You no longer have to suffer in silence.
Mm.
No longer do you have to weep alone. No longer do you have to fight by yourself because the battle
The battle?
is not against flesh and blood,
Flesh and blood, God. Flesh and blood.
but it's against principalities.
Principalities.
And I said powers,
My God, the powers. The powers.
rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness.
Mm.
Because you see, spiritual bandages cover up that spiritual pain. They cover up and heal what ails you that nobody else can see.
Mm.
That's why you can see through me today. That's the power of the spiritual bandages.
Come on. How do I get it?
Just apply the code spiritual power. That's SPIRITUALPOWAH at checkout to receive your healing. Now repeat it so I know that you got it.
Just apply the code spiritual power. That's SPIRITUALPOWAH at checkout to receive your healing.
Spiritual bandages. Stop suffering in silence. Amen. Wow, I have to completely change my.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead.
You also edited that really well.
Oh, thank you.
And I had a hard time. There's a couple of times where you could just see my face. I'm trying really hard not to laugh because you were doing that so well, but I made it through somehow. So let's get to the meat. Let's get to the nitty gritty of the episode.
The knit and the grit, huh?
Paul said there's no guest, but technically Paul's the guest because I'm gonna be asking Paul some questions, and so you're in the hot seat, Paul.
Okay.
And
Let's do it.
my first question is a question that we ask all of our guests first, which is, what was it like for you growing up as a PK? What was your experience?
I loved parts of it, and I always resonate with our guests when they answer in this way. There were parts of it that I really, really loved, and parts that I really, really hated. And one thing that I always liked, which is surprising to a lot of people, is I liked moving.
Yeah.
I really liked, going to a new city and starting over, and I think that helped our nuclear family be very close to each other, because we knew that we were kind of all we had, you know what I mean? So it's like, we got to start over, and it's like, okay, let's do it. It's fun. We develop routines for making friends and for learning the neighborhood and for, finding the good grocery stores and for learning how to live in this house because it's a new house from last year and all this kind of stuff. So that was always fun for me. In my, I was going to say old age. I'm not old, but since I've been married, actually, I've been much more still than I was growing up. And even when I was single, I moved around. I continued to move around. But my wife didn't grow up like that, and she don't like moving like that. So we've just been in the same place, been in the same city our entire marriage, which is really long for me.
Do you get the itch?
Yeah.
Like, or has it stopped? Okay.
No, I get the itch. I definitely get the itch. So I'll be wanting to move. But see, she be like, "Where are we gonna go?" And I don't have an idea. I don't have any ideas. I just want to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a part of our childhood that I think we never had to make that decision.
That's
it was
true.
just we were told this is the next place we're going. We're like, all right.
Right. Well, when we got a little bit older, we were sometimes involved. Well, at least we felt like we were involved in the decision making. But to your point, it wasn't like, hey, let's find someplace else to go. It was always, we have an opportunity to go here. Should we go?
Right.
So where we're going isn't really the question. The question is if we're going.
Right. Yeah.
So in this case, I don't have a where or an if. So I'm just here. As neither one. So I really liked moving. I really didn't like preferential treatment. I actually hated it, and I still do. I never liked this thing that happens where people look at you sideways until they find out that dad is dad, and they're like, "Oh,
right,
I know your father." Oh my god, I still hate it. To this day, I hate it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Hey, I've been a person this whole time."
Right.
You can be polite. You know what I mean? You don't have to be rude until you find out who I am. That's always irritated me.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of an extension of that, I really hate it when people who don't have my quote unquote position are like treated differently right in front of me. You know what I mean? Like you get to come in and you don't kind of thing, or you get the thing and you don't kind of thing, or like, I see it still to this day. But people, I'll be able to have certain conversations or whatever, and people who I work with, people who have this similar job as mine, won't be allowed to have the same conversation, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, and in some cases it's clear that that's what it is. Is that my dad was the pastor of the church thing. In other cases, it's murky whether or not that's the reason, but I always attribute it to that because that's how we grew up. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I've always seen. So, I never wanted to be a pastor, but I would say overall I liked it. Overall, I did enjoy the experience being a PK.
What did rebellion look like for you is part one of my question. I think part two of my question is, what were you rebelling against?
Yeah. What did rebellion look like? Basically, rebellion looked like testing every limit that was possible. Test all of the limits. So, when I was younger, one of the limits I would test was whether or not I would get in trouble for doing things that were clearly against the rules. So sometimes I would openly do the thing and just look at people while I'm doing it and dare them to say something, knowing.
Is this you trolling? Like, were you the original troller of people?
Not original.
I mean, not original, but I'm just saying that was trolling before
trolling was a word. Yeah. But
I did something similar differently, but go ahead.
But see, I knew, and that mom and dad don't care. Right? Mom and dad would have never been like, protect my son in spite of the nonsense. That's not how they raised us at all. They would never, you know what I'm saying? But other people expected that from them, and I knew that. Mm-hmm. So I would take advantage of it and just do stuff sometimes, And I remember times when I would, so there was one time when I was in high school, Adam Sandler had just come out with his first album, right? And I had never heard it before. I actually didn't know who Adam Sandler was. So this is my first experience with this guy. So a couple of my friends at the school we went to, not totally, mostly white school. These are white guys, white friends, and they were friends. We liked each other and stuff. They had the album and they were like, let's come listen to this. Hey, Paul, you got to hear this song, right? Come listen to the song. They played it in the car. The song was Ode to My Car. And if anybody knows, any Adam Sandler fans out there, that's the song they were playing. This is the first Adam Sandler song I've ever heard in my life. I have no idea what I'm in for.
That's a good place to start.
they're playing the song. They're playing it pretty loud, and we are crying. Like, we are falling all over the place laughing because it's hilarious. It's really funny. We are literally 8 feet from the front door of the school. We're sitting right there. So they're in the car, but they're not in a parking space. They're right in front of the door. So and there's an open window right there and stuff. It's after school. The school is, no students are around, but there's teachers there still. So blasting this song, and eventually, I don't know if we got through the whole song or not. It's not that long of a song, like 3 minutes or something like that. Eventually, a teacher comes out, and she's like, "What?" Like she's like speechless. She's like, "What is happening?" Right?
So for context, "Ode to My Car" has a lot of cursing in it,
A ton of it.
and a lot of like just vulgarity. It's a
Vulgarity.
vulgar song, but also funny if you can get past the vulgarity of the cursing.
So I must have been 13 or 14. Right? This is like ninth grade.
No.
Yeah.
Are you that young in the 9th grade?
I was 13 in ninth grade. I was that young in the ninth grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we're all, a couple guys were my classmates, and then one guy had the car, so he must have been like a junior or something like that. But we're high school students, we're teenagers. So the teacher comes out, and the teacher, this is what I saw. The teacher is about to go off on us, and then she saw me and calmed down immediately. And she was like, "Hey guys, turn that off." And she went back inside and didn't say anything. That was it. So, like, I felt like I could just kind of do whatever I wanted, and a lot of times I did whatever I wanted. Yeah. So, is that enough for now? Or you want me to go into more detail?
I want more detail. What do you mean?
What more? So,
I want the
rebellion.
juice. I mean, I was there for a lot of the juice, so I know it. But our listeners
the
wanna
juice.
know.
So
I
here's
know a lot
okay.
of the juice.
So here is the big revelation that I've been holding on to, toying with, revealing, whatever it is. And some people will know this already because they were there or they were around, and they around me during that time. But I got into smoking in particular, right? And there was a couple other things that I did, but smoking was the thing, and I got into it really, really heavy, and I was addicted to it for got to be a decade, maybe longer. Really, really long time. And when I say addicted,
did you know you were addicted at the time, or are you saying that like post?
So it's a little bit of both. So it's a good question. At first, I didn't know, and at first, I was able to start and stop whenever I wanted to. So like there were times when there was a couple, like some event would take place in my life, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop for now. So I would quit because something was about to happen, and then when that ended, I would just go back to it, right? So there was one time, for example, where there was a young lady that I liked. It wasn't a girl. We were in our 20s. There was a woman that I liked, and I had just met her, and I thought she wouldn't accept me as a smoker, so I quit. And then I asked her out, so that if she asked me, I could say, no, I don't smoke. And I was successful. I successfully quit. Like I wasn't even tempted. I was good. It was fine, right? Another time when I went to Korea. When I was in Korea, I was like, I'm not going to smoke while I'm in Korea. And I was successful. I wasn't even tempted. It wasn't a thing.
You were too cold to be tempted.
It wasn't cold all year.
Yeah, I guess that's
it wasn't
true.
cold all year. Yeah, it was cold in the winter. Yeah. So, and those are just two examples, but times like that allowed me to convince myself that I wasn't addicted, right? But the other side of that is whenever, like, for example, when that relationship ended, I was back on it immediately. You know what I mean? And when I got back from Korea, I was back on it immediately. And it was almost like I can't wait for this to be over so I can get back to smoking.
Right.
So I was able to quit for really long periods of time. That relationship was like 1.5 years. So I was able to quit for, I was in Korea for a year, like a really long period of time. I was able to kind of put it down, but I didn't really put it down. I was just put it down for now because I was always going to pick it back up. Like I wasn't even thinking I'm done. I was thinking I'm taking a break.
Right.
And I'm going to get back to it, So I guess that's one potential face of addiction. This idea that, you can convince yourself to take breaks, but you kind of end up back where you were.
So
yeah.
my mom is texting us,
Is she?
so Yeah, and her text just popped up on my screen, and I kind of want to address it because what I was about to say before I saw her text was, "There's no way mom and dad didn't know."
I was thinking the same thing.
And mom just
Apparently
said, "I had
said-
no idea."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "How's that possible?" Because you smell it. Like it gets in the fibers of your clothes, and it gets in your car, and it gets in. Well, I was gonna say hair. You don't have any, but I maybe that's a conversation I'll have with mom later. Like, how is it possible you didn't know? And I wonder if mom, if you're sitting next to dad, asked him if he knew, because I wonder if dad knew. But my initial thought was, there's no way they didn't know.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't, or at least half of them didn't.
So a couple of things. Well, maybe I shouldn't tell how I hit it because I don't want to give. I want to be clear. I'm not suggesting this is a good
Condoning.
idea, right? I don't want to give you. I don't want to give
We're
you
talking
tips for
about
getting away with
rebellion
it.
right now, and
Yeah.
rebellion has a negative
Inherently
connotation
negative,
for a
right?
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I won't talk about. I won't talk about how I was able to hide it because I had some strategies and stuff that apparently worked because my mom didn't know. There was one young lady I was dating who I actually said we had this. She knew I smoked. I didn't smoke in front of her, but she knew I smoked, and because she didn't smoke and she wasn't down, right? But we liked each other, so anyway. And she just said they never suspected it. So interesting.
That's crazy.
So I got away with it. If you want to talk about it that way,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, this young lady, you know,
Well,
she-
did mom and dad know that I smoked? You tell us that. Anyway, go ahead, Paul.
I'm not telling your story. You're welcome to contribute, you know, whatever you want to this conversation. But anyway, yeah, this young lady, you know, she knew I smoked, but I didn't smoke around her. And she would talk about it, and she'd be like, you know, you got to kick it and stuff like that. She wasn't nagging or anything like that, you know, but she'd be like, you know, and she would check. And then after we broke up, she would still check in with me periodically. How is it going? And are you still blah, 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 right? So one time I said to her, and we were in my apartment, and I said to her, she said something like, smoking has all these effects or whatever, right? And one of them is smell. And I was like, you can't smell it. Go smell my clothes. She was like, I can smell it. And she was the first person, and I was in my 20s. I must have been 26, 5 or 6 or something, you know, probably not 6, maybe 25. So yeah, wow. So they didn't know that. So yeah, so that was the first person that ever indicated to me that there was any residue or whatever, right? Not the first person, but one of the first people. There was one time when I was thinking about this, whether I want to tell the story. Now that I've started, I have to. There was one time I was working at, one time I was working at a particular school. I won't mention what school it is. Yeah, let's leave the school out. I was working at a particular school. It's not necessary. Working at a particular school, right? And I was smoking every day. 7 days a week. Okay. So, and I was smoking I smoked in my apartment, and I lived alone. I'd open the windows, whatever, right? Smoke in my apartment. And often I would smoke while grading papers.
Oh, that had to be on the papers. The smell.
So I was grading papers and I'm smoking. So
Had to
so
be.
one day I take my papers back to school and I pass them out, and one of my students says, "This smells like an ashtray."
I was about to say, because you're like blowing it into the paper.
And I'm like, what an idiot. What are you doing? That's one of the
funny.
sure signs of addiction, right? Like you don't you're making really dumb decisions. I'm looking at the time. Wow. Jeez. You're making
We
really,
can do what
really
we want. I think we should just keep talking.
just keep
'cause-
talking. Whatever.
Yeah.
You make really stupid decisions and you don't even recognize it as something stupid that you're doing. You know, you think people don't know and stuff, and they do, and whatever. So who knows what kinds of spaces I prevented myself access to. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's true.
There were absolutely times when I chose not to go do something because I wanted to stay home and smoke instead. That clearly happened. I remember times when people were like, "Hey, do you want to whatever?" Like, I'm tired or whatever. I'm not tired. I just
Yeah.
want to smoke,
Yeah.
and I can't do it
Isn't
with
that
y'all.
like
So
the
I'm staying at the
definition of
house.
addiction?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. So one of the reasons why I feel like we should be reading some of these texts from mom and dad because they're funny.
If they would, if they went on Facebook or YouTube and I would even put them on the screen. But
Yeah. Man, what was I gonna say? Oh,
the definition
one of the
of
reasons
addiction.
why I think I empathize with people who have addictions is because, first of all, life is hard, and not everybody has Jesus to help them cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
And even people who do have Jesus to help them cope with it still will get addicted to stuff. But number two is kind of based on what you're saying. It's easy to be addicted to something and have no idea that you're addicted to something,
Right.
and to convince yourself that there's no problem here. Even if people are telling you, hey, like, you good? I think you have an issue. Like, your brain can trick itself into being like, nah, you're fine. You can quit at any time. I kind of understand that thinking. So I try to be more empathetic with things like that. But that's interesting that mom and dad had no idea. Well,
Yeah.
I guess my tricks work too. I had tricks too, and I knew while I was doing the tricks that they weren't working. I was like, there's no way this is working. Because I was like, there's no way. But apparently it was. So
Yeah.
anyway. So that was part of your rebellion. Do you know what you were rebelling from? Was it the privilege that you were rebelling from, or what?
That is a good question.
Because one of the things that I find interesting about my story compared to yours, compared to John's, is we have a lot of similarities. Like, obviously, we're all raised by the same people in the same house. We had a lot of the same experiences, but we didn't experience those things in the same ways.
Right.
And so I think we all had different ways of rebelling to different things. And I'm just curious if you know, and it seems like you're thinking about it right now, what was behind that? Because to me, rebellion is an action that's taking place, but there's like emotions and thinking that happen way before the action actually happens.
Yeah.
So I'm just like wondering, like, what was underneath that? Number one. And number two, you have a son.
Yeah.
He's only 6 right now, so
Yeah.
But as he continues to grow, what are there things that you might look for in him, or different conversations you might have with him that you may not have had with him if you didn't recognize why you rebelled in the way that you did? I don't know if that's a good way to ask the question that I'm trying to ask.
Yeah.
But I think I'm wondering how your rebellion and how your post-rebellion and like the part of adulthood and maturity that you're in now, how that will inform how you parent your son who's going through life.
Yeah.
And he's going through a very different kind of life where America's trying to take Venezuela and Greenland. Like,
Yeah.
what's
What is that?
happening?
What is that about? Immigrants
So-
getting snatched up off the street. I mean,
Yeah, and we're like, shootings are just normal. They're so
Yeah.
normal that we don't even really hear
they're
much
not even
about
in
them
the
anymore.
news
They're
anymore.
happening constantly.
School shootings aren't even in the news anymore.
They're not even in the news anymore. And like, we didn't grow up like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
You asked me like 11 questions. What was I rebelling
Yeah, I did.
against? I'm thinking about I'm thinking about how it started, and I remember when it started. Actually, it was New Year's Eve, 1994.
well, you have a date. Wow.
No, sorry, 1995. New Year's Eve, 1995. It's gonna be 1996, right? So
Mhm.
yeah.
So 30 is that 30 years ago?
I'll be 46.
I can't do math.
in a week, so that's 30 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was 15, about to turn 16. My birthday's in February, so I was 15, and so I was at that point in my life. I was in 11th grade, 15, 13, 14. I was in 11th grade, and so I'm trying to find the answer to your question. What was I rebelling against? I think I was rebelling against the idea that because it was definitely connected to the PK thing, 100%.
Mhm.
I think I was rebelling against the idea that to be a PK, I had to be a certain level of good,
Mm.
right? I would be a certain level of righteous or appropriate or whatever. And my response to that is, no, I don't.
Yeah, watch this.
Watch this, right? I actually wrote. I'm not a journalist. I don't journal. But I've tried a couple of times because I'm a writer. I've tried a couple of times to keep a journal. It's just not really my way of writing, you know. But I was looking at this recently. A couple things I've written in a journal that I actually still have. It's around here somewhere. One of the things I wrote in the journal was righteousness is not an inheritable trait. And I'm tired of people looking at me like it is, and I didn't get it. So again, just my mindset, right? And that wasn't just when I wrote that, but I mean, just the mindset of, or rebelling against this concept of you're supposed to be this thing because of this other thing. And I'm like, that other thing has nothing to do with it. So here we go. Watch this. And again, I did a number, you know, I did all of the things, right? But the smoking is the one. Smoking is I actually wrote a poem about it when I used to write poetry. It's called The Smoking Kind. I defined myself in those terms, at least internally, for a while. I smoked for a long time, like a long time, you know. And and I didn't realize this was true tonight until tonight when I said it. The last New Year's resolution I've ever had, because I don't do them anymore. But the last New Year's resolution I've ever had was to quit. And
so you're 100%. You have a 100% success rate.
100%
basically.
success. 100% success rate. That was New Year's Eve 2012, and I haven't looked at it since. Haven't touched it since. You know. So I'm pleased about that. One thing I'm pleased with about that is my wife doesn't know me as a smoker. She has no experience, right? My son, all of it is anecdotal. All of it is, you know, so she doesn't have to engage with that, you know, reality in any way, which is, I think that's positive. So, but
yeah, what that says to me is you got married at a point, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm, you know, just talking out of my mouth right now. You got married at a time when you had confronted some things about yourself in like a very mature way and had chosen better for yourself.
Right. I would say that's true.
Yeah, I think that's positive too, because I think a lot of people don't do that. But I think that's positive too, because what you're also saying is there's a part of your past that your wife doesn't have to grapple with because you grappled with it already.
That's right.
You already did that work.
Yeah.
And so now she just gets to enjoy you as a person who doesn't smoke.
I didn't meet her until let me think. What year did we get married? We got married in 16, 15. I met her in 2014, so I had quit like 2 years before that or something like that. So
right on time.
Yeah. So yeah. So let me say this about Mila's episode is what I wanted to say earlier, and then I want to play my favorite commercial, and then we can do our last little wrap up here, our last question. I'm looking at Mom's text messages. I'm all distracted. So
we can't read those.
No,
without their permission.
So here's the thing about Mila's episode in general, and then a couple things she said that really, really stuck with me and I think of regularly. One, she said she sees no power in our church. We don't have any power.
I think she said saw.
Maybe saw.
No, she may have said sees. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no power, right? So we didn't diagnose it. You know, that wasn't the point. But I think, and we might have even said this on the episode, or I might have said, I don't remember if I said it or not, but power comes from community, right? Power comes from togetherness. This is one of the most important ways in which we are created in the image of God. We're created to be together. We're created in community. God is community. God is a community. We're created to be in community, right? So what we do is we separate ourselves from our sources of power by separating ourselves from each other. And we suffer in silence, like the spiritual bandages commercials. Like, stop doing that.
Exactly.
Don't suffer in silence. So the problem with that is, if we're not going to suffer in silence, that means I have to air my own dirty laundry, and that's what we don't want to do.
Mhm.
And that's what we're encouraged not to do. We're encouraged not to tell people the ways in which we fall short and fail and all this kind of stuff. We're encouraged in our church. We're encouraged to essentially suffer alone. Like, oh, take it to God. Yes, take it to God, but
Right.
God says
Yeah.
take it to each other. Like,
Right.
it's like-
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So the community has power to help you navigate just a failure, help you navigate trouble, all that kind of stuff. I think about the Tower of Babel story, right? And the Bible says that God had to stop them, otherwise they would have been able to do anything.
That's
these
the
are
Bible
people-
says that.
And these are people who were not godly.
Yeah.
Where is their
which
power?
Crazy.
Where is their
Yeah.
power? Their power is in it's the power of togetherness.
But
Even
that's why-
togetherness without God is still powerful.
That's why slavery in the United States happened the way that it happened.
Right.
Because if you separate families, you take people's power.
They knew that.
We know that.
They knew that. So like,
Yeah.
let's ship off mom and dad to different
Yeah.
plantations, and now these people are broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, like I said, there was stuff I deliberately wasn't doing because I wanted to be alone so that I could smoke. Imagine if I had the other perspective on it. Imagine if it was like I would rather be around people than smoke. At first, I probably would have tried it, right? I'm going to be around these people. I'm going to smoke anyway. And they would have shut me down immediately. And then I'd been like, well, I got to pick one. I pick the people.
well,
and
it
I'm
depends
done
on
now.
who you were around.
It depends on the people, right? Yeah. But yeah. So, the power of community, if I had even been able to just be honest about the struggle once it was a struggle, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't addicted immediately.
Right.
I wasn't addicted at 15. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Smoked all through college. I wasn't, I don't think I was addicted then. In college, you kind of get it when you can. You know what I mean? You don't have the resources or the. I lived on campus. I didn't have the ability to just do it whenever I wanted to. So I wasn't addicted yet. I don't think anyway. But I did like it. That's the thing. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually.
So
So
So I know this is your story, but this story about myself is popping in my head. The very first alcoholic beverage I ever had, I think I was 16, and
did I
my
give it to
very
you?
first, huh?
Did I give it to you?
We don't have to go into details.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna do
I
any
don't-
of that.
I don't remember this.
I will say that Paul and I have been close for a long time.
A long
Like, we're-
time. Let's
we're
just say it that
friends.
way. Let's say it that
No.
way.
So
We've
my
hung out a
very
lot. Let's just say it
my
that way.
very first sip, I said to myself in my head, "Uh-oh,"
Oh,
because
wow.
I liked
Because
it.
you liked it. Yeah.
And it was something that people usually don't like. People don't say, I love beer unless they're beer
Yeah,
drinkers.
yeah,
People
yeah.
usually think beer tastes disgusting. And
acquired
my very
taste and all of
first
that,
taste, I
yeah.
was like, ooh, this is good. And then I was like, uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. It
Mhm.
was like, I've known for a long time that there's addiction on both sides of alcoholic addiction on both sides of my family.
Yeah.
So that was like be careful with this thing
Mhm.
because you like it and you're not even technically supposed to like it.
Mhm.
But yeah, anyway.
So I would say just to whoever's listening who's struggling with something or thinking about doing something, if you like it, just be careful. Like maybe stay away from it if you like
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Because like for me, I liked smoking. I liked it a lot. I would probably loved it. I've had alcohol before. I didn't feel the same way about alcohol. I could do
Mhm.
without. I could drink or not drink. Who cares? That's not a
Yeah.
thing. That was never a thing for me. I've never been in danger of being alcoholic. I have been in danger, and I have actually been addicted to smoking. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So like, I would say just pay attention. Like Claire is saying, not everything is
Try
worth
to
trying.
strengthen your self-awareness. And I think this
Yeah.
is generally good advice, period.
Yeah.
Try to strengthen your self-awareness because your brain can trick itself and your brain is in your head. So our thinking is our responsibility, but I don't think we're taught that.
Right.
I think we're taught to just think enough to get what we want.
Yeah.
But that's not the same as control, like being in control of our mind, like that's a different thing, and it's
Right.
really, really hard to do.
Right.
It's really hard to do, but I think it's meaningful. Like even trying to do it is meaningful.
I think the effort matters.
The effort matters, yeah, and it's a lot of effort, but it's worth it. Because I think it can make you a healthier person, and it's also painful though.
Yeah.
Like I think things that are difficult to do are painful, and it's a thing that never ends. Like you never stop. I don't think there's a moment where you're like, okay, I have control of my brain now. I don't know if that's a thing. I think you're just constantly trying to be a better thinker if that's something that you want to do. It doesn't end really. So
let me
I kind of want to ask another question.
go ahead.
And I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this. But
There's not really a lot of questions here on the notes. It's just kind of general.
yeah. About a year ago, you seemed reluctant to talk about this on camera, and now you're talking about it. So I'm wondering what changed. And I remember,
It's been a
let me
year
give
of
you my
thinking about it.
perspective. Okay. Let me give you my perspective, because I really had no idea that you wouldn't have just automatically been talking about it.
Right.
And when I saw your reluctance to talk about it, I didn't understand. Because in my mind, I was like, who cares? What's the big deal? Like, that was the past. You conquered it. Let's talk about it. But so tell me a little bit about what that was like for you.
Yeah, it's just, I seem like I'm really open, but I'm pretty private.
Mm.
I don't reveal a lot of personal details, and so there's just stuff I don't want people to know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It really is kind of that simple. There's just stuff I don't want people to know, So that's one of those things, and one of the things. So one of the things, and I want to thank all of our guests. I want to thank every single one of our guests, because you guys have come on this show and revealed the thing about yourself that I would consider, if I were you, I would consider it private.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to say it on camera if I were you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm talking to our guests now, right?
Yeah.
And all of you have gotten on and said, I'm just going to talk about it. And some of you have said, I told people I was going to talk about this, and they told me not to, and you did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been encouraged by that. Our guests have really helped me to get over myself, essentially, right? Like, whatever. Like you to your point, it's over.
Yeah.
Why can't we move past? Why can't we just move on? And then again, Mila's episode, man, Mila was so impactful for me, just in terms of how I think about this kind of thing. Just this concept of we don't help each other, and we could. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have something to share that is valuable. Like I know how to get past it. I'm on the other side of it now. I can give you strategies for getting over it.
And you can also be a person that they can talk to about it, because you're not going to judge them, because you did the same
I understand.
thing.
I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
I get liking it and not wanting to quit. I get it.
Yeah.
So, but of course, none of that is true if you don't know that about me, right? So I have to be open to. That's why we have the show. You know what I mean? I have to be open to revealing that thing. So let me talk.
You don't have to. You choose to.
I don't have to.
And we say this to all our guests. And I want to say it to you. I appreciate your because it's vulnerable. Like it's it's vulnerable to talk about private things about yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how people are going to take it. You don't know how they're going to react. Like it's so. And to me, that's strength. I wish that more people took the risk. It's also risky. I wish that people more took the risk of being vulnerable. But I also understand when they don't take the risk, because it's really, really painful when you're vulnerable and it blows up in your face. Like it's heartbreaking. Yeah. So I get that too. But I do appreciate you for being open, and our guests as well for being open about that.
If you give people ammo and then they use it, it's like, right? Yeah. Who do you have to blame but yourself almost? You know what I mean? It's like I brought this on myself to some extent. So, but yeah, let me say a word about quitting real quick, and then I'll play this commercial, and then I do want to talk about this last question that we have on our list here.
Okay.
So I mentioned that I quit in New Year's Eve 2012, going into 2013. Is that right? that the right year?
I mean, for the sake of conversation, it
Sure.
can be the
12
right
going into 13, or it might have been 11 going to 12. I can't remember. I have to look it up. I do have it written down somewhere. So that's when I successfully quit. That was my last smoke, right? Okay, I want you to hear me. 8 months before that, I decided it was my last smoke.
Yeah. This is talk about this.
Every day, listen to me. Every day for 8 months, I had my last smoke.
Yeah.
Every day for 8 months,
Mhm.
I had my last one. Some of those days, I had my last one multiple times.
Yeah.
Some of those days, this is my last one. Oh, there's one more in the pack.
You got to finish it. You spent money on it. You got to finish.
I'm gonna finish the pack.
That's what your brain does. You got
The
it.
next
you spent
day-
money. It's like, yeah.
The next day, I buy another pack. This is my last
Yeah.
pack. This is my last one. I'm throwing these away.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, I didn't throw them away. Let me go ahead and. I mean, like, seriously, 8 months. I wanted to quit. I badly wanted to quit. I wanted to be past it and was unable to do it. Literally incapable.
So can I reframe this just a little bit? Those 8 months was you quitting. That's what quitting looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah.
some people can do cold turkey, and congratulations. You weren't one of those people.
Not at all.
So you quitting for 8 months was you successfully quitting. It just took 8
It just
months.
took 8 months. Yeah.
For that portion to be over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like that's what quitting stuff looks like. When you're addicted,
Especially if
it's
it's an
not
addiction,
just
right? Yeah.
as simple as okay, I'm done now. It's not that easy. And that can be hard to here's the other thing that community could do. When people are trying to quit things, just like I'm doing to you, if you were in the process of quitting right now, something, and you were sharing it with me, every time that you started to talk down about yourself, about the fact that you didn't do it right again today, I'd be like, this is part of the process.
Yeah.
Like this is the process.
Reframe it
So
positively.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not
Mhm.
you failing again today. It's no, you're still in the process and you've decided tomorrow that you're going to stay in the process, and tomorrow might look the same as today, but eventually tomorrow is not going to look the same as today. But in order to get to the eventually, you have to keep going through the samesies,
Right.
basically,
Right.
to kind of build up your I don't really want to use the word strength, but that's the word that's coming to me, to build up your strength to get to that eventually.
Right.
Quitting is ugly. Quitting something is ugly.
Yeah.
Healing from something is ugly. Like it really is. I don't know where we get this idea that healing is like rosy and happy. No, it's not. It's full of mourning and tears and difficulty. It sucks. But it's worth it because eventually you get to say, man, I used to be addicted to this thing over here. Now I'm not
Right.
anymore.
Right,
And
right.
here's how it happened for me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that can help somebody else. So
I think
All that's
we
good
could
now.
do back to your community point. I think we could do and should do a better job of noticing when people are covered in scabs, right? And we don't demean them for being covered in scabs.
right.
We celebrate them for being covered in scabs because you're going through you're trying to make it through something.
Right.
And
Exactly.
yeah, it's ugly right now.
Mm-hmm.
Scabs are literally unattractive.
Yes.
If you get a cut on your arm and the scab's over,
And they're
it's not
hard
pretty.
and bumpy and like
There's nothing pretty about them.
yeah.
Right? There's nothing pretty about them. But some
Yeah.
people are covered in scabs, and because they're trying to heal from the thing, right? So I think we it's especially in the church, man. I think we can do a better job of, like you said, helping people to reframe it when they're covered in scabs and stuff.
Yeah.
Helping when they're working through a thing, and like you're in the process, and I encourage you to stay in it, and let me help you pray through it, and let me help you. I'll be near you while you're going through it, and all of that,
Yeah.
kind of thing. The opposite of rejection, right? You belong here. We struggle too.
Community can be a cold compress to our scabs.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't point at me and laugh or judge me for the scab. Give me something that's going to help it feel a little better.
Yeah.
Cuz I'm the one that has to do the work. And you
Yeah.
see me doing the work or else I wouldn't be covered in scab. So I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you see the scab, give me comfort. Be
Yeah.
gentle.
Yeah.
Because all the other thing is scabs are can still be irritated. Like if you touch a scab, it
right.
hurts because it's not healed yet.
That's right. It's not healed
Don't
yet.
dig your finger in it. Like who? Like why would you do that? But I feel like that's what we do to each other all the time. We just dig our finger in people's scabs, and it's like that's not loving at
No.
all. It's
Mm-mm.
really, really not. It's really unkind.
Yeah.
And yet we will rationalize that behavior and say that we're being holy, and we'll say that we're being community
Mm-hmm.
by sticking our thumb. I'm like, that's not
community.
No, it's not. It's
Mhm.
not a healthy community anyway.
Right.
No.
It reminds me of one of our commercials. It's not my favorite, but Syrian salve was a commercial that would be relevant
Yeah,
to
yeah,
this
yeah.
conversation.
Give somebody some Syrian salve
Syrian
and rub it on
salve.
your scab.
Get you some Syrian salve, man. I'm telling you.
And don't tell them where to buy the salve. Give them some of yours. Like you
give them
have
some of your
right
salve. Yeah. Yeah.
Give them some.
Yeah. Gift them a jar of their own salve.
Exactly.
You know. All right, we're gonna take another quick commercial break. This is my favorite commercial from last year, and the commercial is Jacob's WrestleMania. And the reason this is my favorite commercial is because this is the first commercial we did when we were in the same place. So we were actually in Claire's apartment. I was there. I was up there for I don't remember why I was in town, but I was up in Maryland for some reason, and we planned to work while I was there. Like let's record some stuff. So I brought some shirts and stuff like that, and we did this commercial, and it's really silly. So here we go. Jacob's WrestleMania. We'll be right back.
Finally, CP Nix is back on the interwebs.
This episode of Club PK is brought to you by CP Nix in partnership with Jacob's WrestleMania. We're hosting WWE-style wrestling events at your local church to finally resolve your long-standing internal disputes.
Are your members fighting over which pew their family gets to sit in? Sign them up for a tag team bout where his dad can elbow her grandma off the top rope.
Is your head deacon bickering with the lead pastor? Let them try to pin each other in the ring for the pastoral belt.
Does your board continually argue at every forum and get literally nothing done? Throw a dual team meet in your fellowship hall and let them really duke it out.
You know, I once saw a deaconess try to suplex one of the ushers during offering at a worship service. They both broke their hips.
It's unfortunate.
That was bad.
She would have been better off trying that move in one of our certified wrestling rings, where she can perform any submission hold she wants without fear of actual physical injury.
Wow. At our wrestling events, you could see DDTs,
Figure 4 leg locks,
pile drivers,
inverted Frankensteins.
sharpshooters.
Call us now and receive complimentary folding chairs to smash over an opponent's head. Just use the code CLUBPK, that's CLUBPK, when you speak to our receptionist, Deborah the Body Ephraim, when you book your Jacob's WrestleMania experience.
That's right. Just use the code CLUBPK, that's CLUBPK, when you speak to our receptionist, Deborah the Body Ephraim, when you book your Jacob's WrestleMania experience.
Because they're always fighting with each other anyway. Might as well put them in a ring.
If you smell what the Lord is cooking.
If you smell what the Lord is cooking. That's funny. That's so dumb. These commercials are really dumb, guys.
They're hilarious.
They're a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
That was good.
All right. So, let's wrap up.
So the last question, how did
Yes.
you, Paul, come
Mhm.
up with the idea for God as a Person?
So this is a book that we wrote together, Claire and I. There's us on the back there.
Yeah, that's us.
This book came from. It started as an effort to combat or maybe even educate my younger self.
Mm.
right? So it started as if I was talking to me at 15, getting ready to start smoking. I was thinking about smoking in particular. Smoking is the thing. I'm telling you guys. If there's a thing in my life that is like, that
Pivotal.
defines your rebellion or whatever, it's smoking for me. That's the thing. Right. Okay. So if I'm gonna talk to my younger self, I know better now, right? I'm as a matter of fact, when I started this idea, I was still smoking. I hadn't quit yet. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think of the year, but yeah, I was close. As a matter of fact, I might have been in that 8 months. It might have been that 8 month period when I came up. When I started this idea. But anyway, so what would I say? Right?
Hold on, before you continue.
Sure.
If the idea came during that 8 months, that means your struggle was not purposeless.
Also true.
You know what I'm saying?
Also
like
true.
struggle has a place in the life of a Christian, or just people. Period.
Just people in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, because reflecting on, and at the time I'm thinking, what if I had never done this? I wouldn't be going through this, right? So I'm like talking to my younger self. What would I do? So the original idea was in my head. It was called Practical Christianity, and the reason it was called Practical Christianity is because I saw a disconnect between what we're supposed to be in church and what actually happens in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a place in church where it's supposed to be a place where people are supposed to come for healing, and people are supposed to come for restoration, people are supposed to come for fellowship. And I see people, and if broken people are there, then great, but I see people almost promoting separation, right? And people promoting distance, and people feel like you can't come over here with that kind of attitude, right? Don't come in here dressed like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I thought it was come as you are. What happened? You know what I'm saying? So like, so it's like, how can we make Christianity? Because I have never doubted Christ, Jesus as a person. That's never been an issue for me. I have doubted the church a lot, right? I have doubted the mechanism by which we're supposed to, or one of the mechanisms by which we're supposed to, develop a relationship with this person. So it's like, what are some ways we can make Christianity practical? So we called it Practical Christianity. That's how it started. So, you'll see now in its final form, and I've told the story before, how I had the idea, and I had a couple of I think I had 1 or 2 chapters kind of sketched or whatever, and I was stuck, and I invited Claire to join it, and it just took off, and we just had a book all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of happened after that, right? It was really easy to write. It wasn't easy to write, but it was easy to write. You know what I'm saying? Working together was easy.
I'll say that. It was fun. Working together was definitely easy, and it's still easy because we have so much fun together.
Right.
But it's interesting that you're saying this, because I'm thinking right now too, when you asked me to join you, I was going through my own particular struggle at the time, and writing this book saved me from it because it gave me something else to think about, and I needed something else to think about.
Right.
And I've gone back to chapters of the book, and when did we publish this? 2020, I think. So it's about 6 years.
Let's see.
I think it was 20.
Than that. It's less than that. 2022 maybe.
Okay.
2021.
I've gone back many times to reread chapters in that book, and my friends, there's 2 different occasions where 2 different friends quoted my own book to me.
And you were like, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah, it made me
like, you
go
wrote
back
that.
and read it again, and I was like, "Yo, we did good work," but also we allowed good work to happen through us. That's really what it was.
Right.
Because there's some stuff in there that when I read it, I'm like, I remember sitting at my desk typing this, and I remember thinking to myself, this is not me writing this. I'm not coming up with this. My fingers are just moving.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely felt the Holy Spirit in a way I hadn't really experienced him before during that process.
Yeah.
But also my struggle at the time was had purpose. Just like I said, your struggle, your 8 months had purpose. My struggle at the time had purpose too, because I'm not sure that I would have, And I like to write. So maybe I would have said yes to you, but I feel like I immediately said yes to you when you asked. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Let's go. I was excited about it because I was like, I can't think about this other thing anymore. Let me do this thing with Paul and laugh and have fun.
Yeah.
And then it actually turned into an
And
actual.
that's always
tangible
kind
thing.
of always the thing, right? If we're gonna do something together, whatever it is, we know it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be silly and we're gonna laugh.
Right.
So
Right.
whatever the project is, we'll figure that out. Let's
Right.
let's get on Zoom once a week, and this would be like an hour away from the rest of our lives almost.
Yeah.
So that's
But that
so that's,
hour fills up my bucket.
right.
So it's a little bit of time, but it's
Yeah.
majorly impactful because
Yeah.
it helps me get through the other 23 hours.
So one of the things that was important, and I actually don't remember if this was your idea or mine, which is the case for most of the things in this book. I don't remember who came up with it, right? But one of the things that was important to the original concept of the book was the practical steps that we've included, right? So at the end of each chapter, we have 2 or 3 or 4 practical steps to help the reader actually do the thing that we're suggesting in that chapter,
Mm-hmm.
right? And again, back to the original idea, practical Christianity, right? How do I actually implement it? And one of the things that we've said, I think we might have said this in the introduction, is sometimes I like church, right? I enjoy church services, the singing, the fellowship, the preaching. I like church, right? But sometimes I leave church and I don't know what to do next.
Mm.
Right? Church doesn't always give me a here's what you do with this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Kind of insight. So we wanted our book to do that specifically. It's not just theory, it's practice. It's practice. Here's
Right,
what you
yeah.
do. Here's some ideas. Here's some ideas. Some of them are a little bit higher, some of them are a little bit lower, some of them are kind of funny, whatever. At the end it's always here's what you now that we gave you this, here's what you do with it. And I think that's where the rubber meets the road is just kind of a place where we can all improve. We can all get better. We can all just make progress in applying this stuff that we know in theory.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note too that the theory is ancient theory.
That's also true.
It's not 21st century
That's also true.
2026 theory.
Yeah,
Like the Bible was written a long time ago.
on the other
And
side of the
even
world.
though on the other side of the world in a different culture for like a particular audience because like the Bible had
in
an
languages
audience.
that none of us speak anymore.
Correct. Correct. So I think you can be a Bible reader but not a Bible doer
Yeah,
because you may not understand how to apply this. Like the principles are still true. They're everlasting principles, but they're not going to look the same
right.
for me right now that they looked for the person of the Bible that I just read this story about. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Mhm.
I think that practical application is a bridge that can help all of us live the thing
Yeah.
that we say we want to live, but also help test whether or not we really want to live it.
Right.
Like, do you really wanna do this?
If you really look, this is what it looks like. Do you sure you want this?
Yeah, like, are you
It's like-
sure? Yeah,
So
that's good. Doc.
yeah, there you go.
Good. There's a natural end to the conversation.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. Bye.
We're ending by saying buy our book.
Yeah, man. Go to the website, cpnext.com, and check out the book. As a matter of fact, go to our shopping page, which looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
We have the original version, which I was just holding in my hand. We have the education edition, which I use as a textbook in my classes. This book
Mhm.
includes comprehension questions and writing questions and some critical thinking concepts at the end of each chapter. And then we wrote a workbook as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty much all practical steps. So we actually started with the practical steps in the original book, and the practical steps are in the education edition as well. We started with the practical steps that are here, and we just added like 3 or 4 or 5 to every single chapter. So instead of 3, you have like 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a
There's
workbook
more
too, so
steps
there's
in the
space, more
workbook,
in depth.
yeah.
Exactly right. There's space to write and stuff like that. There's some challenges in there. As a matter of fact, there's a challenge for each chapter. Like
Mhm.
and the activity will take you a week or something like that to again just try to make it part of try to include it in your life.
Yeah, try to make it livable.
Try to make it livable.
Yeah, and what does that look like?
That's what we're after here.
Mhm.
So there you go. Thanks for interviewing me. That was fun.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And here's
So-
here's to us in a new year of new well, probably some new guests, some repeat guests, but
Some new guests, some repeat
new
guests.
conversations.
New conversation for sure. We have
Yeah.
we have our next guest. Do we have our next guest lined up? I'm not gonna tell you who
We
it is.
do, but
but
yeah, y'all gotta wait to see.
You gotta wait to see who it is. Our next guest is
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be a good enough. Yeah.
Let me think. Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna be
Oh yeah. I'm looking at the calendar. Our next our next guest. I gave this person the parameters for the kinds of questions we're gonna ask, and it was basically what I said was, you might respond to some of our questions by saying "mind your business." That's what I said to our guest. I said you might tell us to mind our business, and this person was like, "Let's do it, bring it on." so this person is prepared to be open and honest about things that are going to be private. So,
Well, not anymore. Not after we talk
not
about
if
it.
we not after we're done, right? Not to sensationalize, right? Not to highlight
Right.
the negative things, but we want to show the humanity in these people, and there's ways to actually move forward in your life. There's ways to overcome struggle. There's
Yeah.
ways to get closer to God. Another thing that Mila said that really stood out to me. As a matter of fact, I might have said it during her episode, but she brought it to my mind. And now I'm thinking about it. That's exactly what happened. She said something that made me think this, and I think I'm the one who said it. But when you fall, when you fail, God's response is never try harder.
Right.
That is
yeah.
not his response. That is not his response. His
Some
response is
some
not.
things he'll say try less.
He might say
actually.
try less. He might say go sit down
Yeah,
somewhere.
because you're doing too much.
You're doing too much. But it's
Yeah.
not. It's not try harder. It's come here.
Yeah.
His response is
Come
not stay over
closer
there
is
and
his
get it
response.
right. His response is come here, come closer, come closer, come
Mhm.
closer. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think there's just healing in the presence of God, and if we wanted it, we would seek it, and maybe we do want it and don't know to seek it, right? Or maybe we're not enabled or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're after. We're trying to bring people to close relationship and healing, and just have some fun. We didn't laugh that much this
Yeah.
episode.
So we keep saying last thing. This has to be the last thing because we're gonna keep doing that. But one of the things that I really appreciate about my work with you, Paul, is that it shows me in a real time way how to have fun with God.
Hmm.
I think the idea of having fun with God, even though people may have said it, although that's not true, they never said it. No one ever said that to me. As a kid in particular, it always felt like, kids aren't encouraged to have fun in church.
You weren't supposed to have fun.
You're not supposed to. Yeah, you're not supposed to have fun. So unintentionally, the message that I got was, God and fun don't go together.
Yeah.
And the older I get, I'm like, that's a lie.
That's just not true.
And it's actually
Not
also
true.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so, but it's also something I
we
had
have a
to
book. We have a
unlearn.
chapter in our book. Eden is a playground. Eden is a playground. God is
Yeah.
a fun-loving person.
Yeah.
You know?
There are things that God created specifically for our pleasure, and that's it. Just to give us pleasure.
Yep.
That's the reason.
That's the reason it
So
exists.
why not? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's like a mental shift that
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
you have to
for sure.
you have to make.
sure.
So I appreciate one of the reasons why I appreciate my work with you is that it's a constant reminder that you can have fun and be close to God at the same time.
Mhm.
At the same time. At the same
And that's
time.
what
They
he
can live in
wants.
the same space.
That's what
yeah.
he actually wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Good times.
Yeah, good times.
Thanks for joining us, guests. I'm gonna play one more quick commercial. This is actually a commercial for our book, but we're not coming back after it. So we're gonna say goodnight.
See y'all next time.
See y'all next time. Peace.
Bye.
As the author talks about the omnis, it puts into perspective why there is no such thing as ridiculous prayers. How many layers of power and this and that and all that stuff. And then you go into ridiculous prayers and it talks about what kind of prayers he probably will not answer or doesn't go, or why he does not. It's like, why doesn't he? But it explains in the previous chapter of his character and why he might not or might do something. But I really like ridiculous prayers because I'm scared to ask for certain things. And so when I read it, it was like, why are you ever scared to ask for something? There's no such thing as a prayer that's too much for God. There's a